I don't know if we live yet. I gotta check. See if we live. What's happening? Once we go live, you know we gotta kick ass and take names up. We up in here. Okay. Hello, everybody. Let me mute this so I'm not catching the echo effects. We can get ready to get started. I'm a little bit under the weather today. I apologize. I don't even have my light on. I'm acting like I ain't a professional. Like I don't do this all the time. I do have my little stuff over here, a little setup. It's all good though. Got my kids with me. Feeling good. Feeling good. Somebody a little bit under the weather. We about to get it. You know what I mean? Got a lot to talk about. Trump makes sure we always have a lot to talk about. Now, I don't know if I'm happy about that or not. Actually, I can distinctly tell you, but I'm not. Trump's a piece of work. I'm more disappointed, to be quite frank, with this country. We allowed this country to get like this. So who do I get mad at? Trump or the people that allowed this to be like this? Okay, some documents. I'm sorry, I'm trying to. Y'all know me. If y'all been on here before, my job right now is to set this up so that we're ready to go. And in about 2 shakes, we will be. Give me 1 minute. What I got to do is I got to come into my YouTube. I should have set this up before. I got a new computer, and it's been giving me all types of problems since I got it. For those of y'all who have been here, y'all know I've been having problems with this YouTube studio. But you know what? Or this new computer rather. But you know what? I was about to send it back. I got a warranty, you know. Freaking Max, man. I got the warranty. I was about to send it back tomorrow. But what happened was, looks like I'm good to go. And it looks like we're good to go. Because everything else is just going to fall real simple because it's how we do it, right? Everything is set up for the most part. I just got to get the ball rolling. Uh-oh, it froze. Why my YouTube studio freezing? I got so much to talk to y'all about. Why y'all following this Charlie Kirk nonsense? For those of y'all don't know about Charlie Kirk, oh man, I got this light supposed to my eyes. I got to do something about this light. I got to slide it over a little bit because I'm trying to look into the camera and it's hurting my eyes. And I think it's because I don't look on camera still. So all right, you can probably look in my eyes and tell I'm a little under the weather. And I apologize about that. You know, how I feel. We got to stay in this together. We got to talk about this. We got to figure these things out. So me being sick don't mean I ain't going to be here for you. I got to be here. We got to figure this out. Trump is making sure we got to figure this out. So as long as Trump is doing what he's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing. You heard? Because that's our job. That's our job. That's what it's going to be. Making sure my co-host knows we on. I know he was at a rally today, conservative rally in the Bronx. They all sad about Charlie Kirk. Now, no one should get murdered in front of their families. It's a horrific, terrible, like crazy concept, right? Like your kids is there, your wife is there, and they have to watch that. I'm a single father. My kids mean the world to me. Anybody who know me know that. Anybody who's been on this show before, who's watched the show, y'all know how I feel about my kids. I got them everywhere. That's my kid. That's my oldest right there. That right there, that's her when she was this kid's age. That's her right now. Right here, that's the 2 sisters. And that's, you know what I mean? And so for me to think about a man getting that done to him in front of his kids is a horrific thing for me. Yo, snap. I didn't even check my mic. My mic ain't on. Y'all probably can't even hear me. I'm talking to myself. Let me bring my mic down. Let me I apologize. I've been talking all this time. Y'all ain't hearing me. But I'm in it now. I'm all the way in. And it's because this computer's got me messed up a little bit, to be honest. I'm sick. The computer got me confused. I'm trying to figure things out. But y'all know I'm going to be sipping on my tea. Give it to y'all. That's what we do. Tag. I'm looking at this thumbnail we got. I don't know if y'all saw the thumbnail. Let me share that with y'all real quick. Let me cancel it. That's not what I want to do. See, I'm still learning how it works. Let me pull that thumbnail up right quick. Y'all got to see this thumbnail. I got to pull it up the trash to show it to you. This is the biggest thing going on in America right now. Sad to say, this stupidity. I mean, I can't say it's stupid. A man did lose his life. And that's a shame. But this being the biggest thing going on in America is crazy. That man to the, I guess, left of Donald Trump, we're looking at him. So to your right, just to get the orientation in place, is a man named Charlie Kirk. That man was assassinated while giving a speech, which is, a very terrible thing. Nobody wants to see that. Now, as I said in the previous episode, it's probably going to air tomorrow. I'm not exactly what you would call a fan of this gentleman. That don't mean I want to see anything violent happen to him. But here's the thing. I honestly think he'd have been happy to see something violent happen to me. I got the Honorable Dion Powell about to jump in with us, which is a good thing. Welcome, Dion. What are you doing? Alrighty then.
I'm whack, man.
In the nick of time.
Right, and I got something in the mail today. Dion's got a new toy. Let's see what it is.
I'm afraid to ask. You got the black MAGA hat on. You got the Elon Musk version.
Actually, this is something somebody made before Elon Musk.
That's the one he made popular.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna pick up my new toy.
A red, black, and green flag.
Came out the
you're wearing like a cape.
Came out the African American Day Parade, my friends.
Good for you.
Now, let me look up my new toy. Say hello to my MAGA friend.
What's a MAGA hat?
Say hello to my MAGA friend. Red, black, and green, you know what I mean?
I see. I do not know how to make this appear on my first screen. It's something I have to figure out. I've been working on my computer. I've had more problems. I'm figuring more out. But we have quite a bit to get to get started. Mr. MAGA.
Mr. MAGA, that's somebody else.
There's really a Mr. MAGA?
No. I'm just saying that should be somebody else.
I'm not getting the joke, but that's fine. All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome to the Think Tank. We use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased logical conclusions. I'm here once again, as we are every Sunday night, 9 p.m., for you to discuss what's going on in MAGA America with the Honorable Dion Powell. Would you like to introduce yourself to these guys who don't know you?
Yes, I'm 78th Assembly District Leader Dion Powell here in the Bronx, New York. And as you can see, I'm wearing my red, black, and green. Came walking through with pride, beating my chest. for the African American Day Parade in Harlem, USA. So I'm a political consultant, solutionist,
I'll be right back. You go ahead.
and yeah. So that's what you see we got on right now. Last year we were booed on ABC Live, but this year they knew better. Also, I just got back from a Charlie Kirk vigil
All
here
right, well,
in
fine. Go to
Bronx.
bed. I can't do it. Taking
So
too long. Go.
that's what's going on. But as you can see, Leo forgot to put himself on mute. So I'm gonna try to talk over what's going on in the background over there.
I
Single
apologize. Like I was saying to everybody, single parent, doing my
yeah.
thing, putting the
Yes.
kid to bed. Give me 2 shakes.
Yeah, so I'm trying
I'll
to
be right back.
yes, good. Yes. Now I don't have to drown with the background noise. I can keep pontificating great length with this soliloquy. We're back in the booth again, guys. You know, today was a somber day for the Charlie Kirk family. Sleep in peace, his wife, who actually, forgave her husband's killer, which is not easy to do publicly. Ooh, wow. So that's what, happened today. Amongst all the different celebrities, Elon Musk and the president seems as though, cool again to make America great again. Get it? Got this nice, stylish hats with my flag for my people and looking great, feeling great. We got a nice episode for you guys tonight, live. We're gonna see if we can put it side by side when Leo gets back. So far, it's only on one person at a time that we're gonna see us in its entirety. Some of the subject matters that we're gonna discuss this evening are gonna be about Jimmy Kimmel and why I think, hey, he should have been fired sooner. But that's just me. We're going to be talking about more of the legal maps this evening. And we're going to, the usual gerrymandering, the key slaves, as it were. Washington Post firing, black journalists. Oh, big surprise there. Looks like the Washington Post was racist the whole time. You can't blame Donald Trump because you got fired. He didn't tell them to fire you. Those big network heads that look at the bottom line, the behind the scenes, they fired you. So, yeah. Wow, this one looks dope. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm so Pan-African is good. Oh yeah, shout out to
Wow.
Penny, Make America Healthy Again. Another little shameless plug for our Mahaga, Make America Healthy and Great Again movement. And here we are.
Wow. I've heard some of the rhetoric. I had my headphones on while I was trying to get my daughter into bed. I,
What rhetoric?
Jesus. Well, I mean, let's. We got a list to go through. We're gonna go through the list. But you said some interesting things. We'll get to it. Let's you said some stuff, boy. Let's start with Jimmy Kimmel. We'll start there because that was inflammatory enough for me. So, do you know who Jimmy Kimmel is? Because I'm not a conservative fan. Like, I listen to
He's a
everybody, so I know
liberal. He's
about
a
him.
liberal. He's one of those Johnny Carlson wannabes that came up after Jay Leno. Remember him? Late night, the big thing.
Oh, yeah, that's Jimmy
You know what?
Kimmel.
Exactly when he got
Right.
fired. His ratings are low because you should know who he is.
But it just so happens that Donald Trump did make a phone call and threaten them, did he not?
But I
As a
don't.
matter of fact, I believe his exact words were, we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way. Like, that sounds like me trying to get somebody's lunch money in the cafeteria. Give me your chocolate milk. We could do this the easy way. I want your chocolate milk. Now we could do this the easy way or the hard way. That's what he said to him. We could do this the easy way or the hard way. That's an exact quote. Like, wow. So I guess the first thing we'll address is Donald Trump told him to fire him. And the easy way or the hard way, did he say that? What are your thoughts on the president calling Disney, all right, liberal Disney, and threatening him?
I think that, like I keep saying, trying to be consistent, that's just Trump being Trump. And I think that Jimmy Kimmel got himself fired by not knowing the audience and the climate of a sensitive issue like Charlie Kirk and the facts of that his killer was not a right-wing extremist. And he just went and did it anyway. However, he did make fun of other people that were fired or needed to be fired during the cancel culture, like, Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr, she got fired from her gig on her sitcom, for making inappropriate comedy back then during the time. So everybody can get it. But if you ask me, in college, when he did that blackface of Utah Jazz star Karl Malone, I think he should have been fired there. But guess what? His ratings are enough to prove that he needed to be terminated. Thank you.
Wow. That may or may not be so. And I'm not exactly sure how that works. But let me explain one or two things. He was not fired until President Trump called and said we can do this the easy way or the hard way. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, he had a contract. In his contract, he could not be fired unless he made particular statements, which he did not make. In fact, it is such a fact that about his contract, what he could and could not say, and Trump was not involved with what he could not say, and he's literally suing for how much? Billions of dollars, not millions. B with a billions with a B. He's suing for $1 billion with a B dollars because Trump has violated the First Amendment. And are you okay with Trump being Trump violating the Constitution yet again?
He didn't violate any constitution, my friend, because you don't have a constitutional right to work for a private media company. It was the media company, the private company, that fired you. So you have to take it up with them. Donald Trump can't just do that. If he did, then that's censorship. So that's not what happened.
When he called and threatened the company and made the company fire him, that
He made the company
obviously
fired
had
up.
no problem firing him before because they didn't fire him before the Trump phone call about doing things the easy way or the hard way. Give me your lunch milk, your lunch money. Give me your milk. Give me that. We always in your pockets. I like that chain. Before he did his bullying tactics, Charlie Kirk was fine. He made the phone call the easy way or the hard way, and Charlie Kirk was out of a job, so now he's suing for it. And so your excuse for this is, oh, well, it was not even, it was Trump being Trump, but you can't say that. He called and threatened a media company for what they were reporting, for what one of their reporters said. And he said he was going to levy some sort of retribution against them by saying it was going to be the easy way or the hard way. By threatening them, he threatened their right to free speech, which is guaranteed by the First Amendment of the Constitution. The first 10 amendments, for anybody who doesn't know, is the Bill of Rights. So violated the original Bill of Rights, one of the first, the 10 commandments of the Constitution. What's going on? You're good with this. You're okay with your president calling, threatening media companies. Later for Kirk. Take Jimmy Kimmel. Take Jimmy Kimmel out of the picture. You're okay with the president calling and threatening media companies?
Yes, because that's Trump being Trump. Now it's incumbent upon the media company to do something about it. Remember, the media companies need to be scared of the president because they are losing to him in all their libelous, slanderous content they put about him that was influencing our last election. Thank God that he won. Isn't that great? So now, if you put fake news out there, like, hey, Charlie Kirk's killer is a right-wing extremist with MAGA, and you're wrong, you could be held liable for it and can owe the president's charity millions of dollars because you just told a bold-faced lie that is actually slanderous to the president of the United States as the brand and leader of our nation.
Huh. So we're not going to follow the Constitution. The Constitution is just a rag. Forget the Constitution. It's okay. Trump being Trump, he can just break the laws, violate the Constitution, constitutional crisis. Constitution doesn't exist. Do what he wants. That is your now official stance.
Well, it's the media company. The media company have to stand up to the president, but he didn't make them do anything. Their low viewership, Their liability.
Screw all that. He threatened them. We're not going to talk about what they did or did not do because of the threat, because obviously you're going to walk around that. As a MAGA representative, you're good with the president of the United States calling and threatening a media company representing the fourth branch and taking away their right to free speech. You're good with that. MAGA is good with that.
He can't take away the right to free speech, no matter how much you yell into the camera. He can call them and call them out because
he threatened them.
Threaten them with what? In order to threaten them, he has to be able to do something. So
yes.
Unless you're talking about
they have a merger coming up.
Whoa,
and
now we're getting.
So what he did was he threatened their pockets. He's like, yo, I'm not saying you won't get your merger, but I am saying your merger is coming up. And you want this.
After what the media did to this man for the past, let's say 6 years, maybe 8 at this point, 9, I say yes. Let the president have at it. Against all these liberal progressive, excuse me, we're not ready for you yet. President Trump, yes, get him. They all can get it.
So a MAGA representative is officially telling you that the First Amendment, freedom of speech, is not important to the MAGA party over Donald Trump. Donald Trump comes before the Constitution. That's what he just said. Donald Trump.
I'm talking about against big media
companies. For the Constitution. Nah, Donald Trump gets his revenge. Screw the Constitution is what he just said.
Big media companies. Yeah, they can get it. The big media say Disney, CBS, ABC, NBC, MS Now, all of them, CNN, they all can get it. President call them every day and say, hey, screw you. Do this or you're going down, because they're going down anyway, because we the viewers aren't watching them anymore and they have no credibility with us.
Really quickly, hey Chrissy, yeah, he just came back from a parade where the African Black parade, so he's got the matching colors. We didn't get to the Washington Post firing yet because Donald Trump is just attacking all the media. We didn't get past Kimmel. We didn't get to the Post yet. And Kimmel was a comedian, yes. The First Amendment. What is the First Amendment? That's a very good question. So let's look at what the First Amendment is. That is a good question. I'm glad somebody asked that word, because I'm saying big words.
That's because you show the people are so racially, emotionally learners that they should know these basics so they won't be scared and get caught in their feelings.
Well, we're just going to address it directly since someone asked a logical, not emotional, logical question. We're talking about the First Amendment. What is the First Amendment? I don't understand how you get emotional. So it almost sounds as if you're trying to label somebody in order to downplay what they said, and what they said was something intelligent. So you're trying to use a psychological technique known as labeling in order to make them sound weak, when in actuality, the question was strong. So it only shows weakness when you do that. You understand that when you throw misomas as labels, it shows weakness, especially after it's pointed out. Asking what the First Amendment is a smart, strong, logical question. So now that that's been explained in no uncertain terms, what is the First Amendment? The First Amendment protects the freedom of speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition. Full stop. No reason to go any further. Why continue to talk about it? Press and speech. The First Amendment protects press and speech.
And assembly.
Assembly is not part of this particular portion of the conversation. We're talking about the fact that Donald Trump is calling and threatening media companies, the press, and what he's threatening is their free speech. We're talking about the fact that he is stomping all over the Constitution at this point. And a lot of MAGA seems to be okay with that. Trump over the Constitution, Trump over freedoms. And that is what you're saying. Trump over the Constitution. Trump over what this country is supposed to be about. Trump over the law. Trump means more than the law to you. The Constitution is what the law is based on. So you'd rather Trump than the law. So what happens when Trump turns on black people? Oh, that ain't going to happen. Right? Right?
Yeah, that's right. Trump is not going to turn on black people. And he just proved it. He actually took money away from Hispanic colleges because they were probably educating illegals, and you gave that money to historically black colleges and Native American tribal colleges. Isn't that interesting? That
But what's
500
interesting is the one word you stuck in there and tried to sneak past. You said probably. So you don't have no evidence of none of that.
Yes,
So
I
what you
do.
did, you said probably. So then if you have the evidence, why did you say probably?
All right. The
Show the
recent
evidence.
announcement.
Share the evidence.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. He wants me to share the screen so far. Let's share the screen so far, shall we? No, where is it? 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 I guess I could go over here.
And meanwhile, oh, okay, good. You're
Let's go over here.
doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
500 million Trump HBCU, which stands for historically black colleges and universities. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Oh, AP. That's always credible, right? And look how they worded it. Trump administration boosts HBCU funding after cutting grants for Hispanic serving colleges. AP News, fake news. Yeah, you see how they slanted it? Man, it sounds so evil when it's actually good for the black colleges for a change. The Trump administration is redirecting nearly 500 million federal funding towards historically black colleges and tribal colleges. A one-time investment covered primarily by cuts to other colleges serving large number of minority students. Now, does that make sense to you? Huh?
He's moving money. He's moving money around. Is going to the black colleges. That sounds good
And,
for black
and
people.
Native American colleges, my friend. The Education Department. Now, Secretary, look at the man, baby. WrestleMania. All right. Announced the funding boost days after cutting 350 million from other grants, mostly from programs reserved for colleges that serve a large number of Hispanic students. Agency leaders say those grants were unconstitutional because they're available only to colleges with certain minority enrollment thresholds. Linda
Oh,
McMahon.
wait. So it was a DEI attack. Go ahead.
You could
That's
assume
what it
as much as
is.
you want. You can assume as much as you want. How is the
That's not
DEI
an
going to the
assumption. By
black?
definition, that's a DEI attack. There's nothing to.
How? When he gave the money
Oh
to
my god.
the black colleges and the tribal colleges. Education Secretary McMahon said the changes will redirect money away from ineffective and discriminatory programs toward those which support student success. There you have it, my friend.
500 million over how many colleges? That's not, I mean, he did something. I'll give him credit for doing something.
Doing something good for the black people.
So, since we're talking about black people and media being attacked, Jimmy Kimmel was attacked. Kate Latifah, I'm sorry, Attiah was fired from the Washington Post.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, it was
Why
not.
was she fired from the Washington Post? What did she do? Were you aware of this?
Well, maybe she was running her mouth when she shouldn't be. How about that?
Yes, she actually quoted your hero, Charlie Kirk.
He's okay. He's my hero now. Okay.
He started the whole legacy that led to the black exit from the Democratic Party from the last time you spoke, and you were so excited because Black Brexit was a branch off of something that he started, but you don't seem to know the things that he said when he started it, which means you just was listening to clips and
No,
rhetoric.
you're listening to clips and rhetoric of like little 28-second sound bites about how racist and evil he was when he
You
has
know, I
no
listened
body
to
of
him
work.
talk and I heard what he said. What he said was over and over again. What he said was that basically black people did not need civil rights. That we should not be honoring Martin Luther King. That like the things that come out this dude's mouth crazy. Look, if the amount of times this man like now I've heard the bites about him saying Martin Luther King, but I've heard the full long blowhard that he is, the full long speeches that he's given about Martin Luther King. That man is a piece of. You know what? I'm not happy he's dead. No one deserves to die in front of their family. But if it had been me that had got shot in front of my family and he was there, I think he would have cheered. And that's the truth. But I digress.
Sick.
You don't agree. So you think he'd have been you didn't think he'd have felt bad? You think he'd have been like, no, don't. Anyway, yes, this is so sad. I'm crying. Anyway, I think that's what would have happened. Like, oh my, I'm so hurt.
Another
That's
black
how I
woman lost
feel.
her job before for being Trump deranged, just like Joy Reid lost her job.
No, she lost her job for quoting Charlie Kirk. She said something that he said, and she lost her job for it. It just happened to be the last black person working for the Post, the Washington Post. Lost her job for not giving an opinion about what he said, but for saying what he said. Because we're not supposed to hear what he said, because then we would know what he thought. So fired the last black person, adding to the 300, and she was a woman. So it adds to the 300,000 black women who already lost their jobs since this man got in office.
But it's not his
So
fault. It's the Washington Post's fault. Think about it.
yes, it's the Washington Post's fault that everybody's afraid of Trump. But what happens if they stand up to him and try and fight for the First Amendment rights? Because that's what it would be. You got to go against Trump, and Trump is controlling Congress and the Supreme Court. So, yes, they're going against Trump, but they're doing it in a no-win situation. The Washington Post was not originally behind Trump that way. They had no choice. Everybody, you have law firms that are working for free, capitulating, working for free just to get Trump off their back. You have media companies. The very First Amendment, the reason that it's the First Amendment is because freedom of speech and freedom of the press is what guarantees a free society, because we have the freedom of thoughts, we have the freedom to spread ideas. So the first thing he wants to do is crush the concept of freedom of thought, freedom of free ideas, so that, why? So that now you can't think and you can't talk. It is the way you crush a democracy. You're watching the crumbling of a democracy. But I digress.
Yes, please digress to something else, because that's entirely not true. Because these people are worried about their money and their bottom line and being
So
sued.
wait. You said it's not true. Let me ask you a question. So why did they make that the First Amendment?
Why they make that in the First Amendment? I don't understand the question.
Why did they make the freedom of speech and the freedom of press? Why was that so important? It was the first thing they said. It's the First Amendment. Why was it the first thing they did? Why?
The founding
Do you know? Do you know
fathers,
your history?
well, from what I recall, because of being persecuted by uh fascist government, let's say the king, the crown, the British kingdom, they wanted to have free speech and freedom of religion. Remember that? In the Mayflower, escaping persecution,
So what you're
monarchy.
saying is they made it the First Amendment because it was their thing that freedom of press and freedom of free speech was important to a democracy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's important to democracy. Yes, because they didn't want to be under a monarchy anymore, under a king. Understand?
So then, if that's the case, if it's so important that it was the First Amendment to a democracy, why would somebody want to crush the media and free speech? Because that's what is happening when you attack them. Why would somebody attack the media and free speech?
Well, right now, because speech has been abused and has been weaponized. Again, I
Whoa.
can't answer
So
your question. That's the answer.
you're saying there should be limits to free speech?
Yes, because if you may recall as a child, you can't just be in a crowded space of people and yell the word fire like it's an emergency, because that would actually potentially harm people than hurt them. Understand? That's when free speech is a danger. That's why you also have a Second Amendment, a right to bear arms without any kind of restrictions to get access to weaponry. Understand? So you have certain checks and balances.
Whoa. So you just threw something in there. So you be making stuff up. It says nowhere in the Second Amendment without restrictions. It doesn't say that. You made that up.
Okay, well, again, there are certain guardrails to this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I'm
just gave you
listening.
an example. I just gave you an example how free speech can go south by yelling fire in a crowded room. Fire, everybody fire. And everybody panics. Somebody gets trampled, hurt, and killed. That's when free speech goes wrong.
But when you have a government in a democracy, free speech is being able to discuss your ideas and what you think of the leadership and potential other leaders that might be able to take that place. And by saying that you can't talk bad about Trump, that's taking away free speech. Nowhere in the concept. The reason that they have free speech from what you just said is so that they don't have a leader saying you can't talk bad about me. You just said that yourself. And now what you're saying is out of the other side of your face, even though the reason they have free speech was so that the king can't say, you can't talk about me. Donald Trump can put a crown on his head because he's done it in pictures, Trump being Trump, and said, you can't talk bad about me. And you're supporting it. What is cognitive dissonance again? Because that's what.
Tell us. Tell us what cognitive is.
Well, this is for education
Derangement
purposes
syndrome.
only. But I will. Trump derangement. See, Trump derangement syndrome is pretty simple. I finally understood Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is when people are got their head so far up to his ass that they're too sick to realize that the things that they're saying don't make sense. They're deranged. They're so into Trump that that everything else doesn't make sense. It leads to something called cognitive dissonance. That's what it is. Trump derangement syndrome is the Trump thing that causes cognitive dissonance, which is the psychological discomfort people feel when they hold two or more conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes, and when their behavior contradicts their belief. So, anyway, that is the explanation for some of the things going on within the MAGA party. Because even you just sat here and said to me that no one should be able, the people should be able to talk back to the king, but nobody should be able to talk back to Trump.
You put a lot of words in my mouth. Ever heard that?
That was literally what you said. I quoted it and you agreed with it.
Oh God.
Hold on. Ned, I am a film person. I am not a politician. I just use common sense. The reason the reason behind me are there is just because this is my office. They have nothing to do with the conversation whatsoever. Because he said those degrees behind you don't make sense. Well, one is psychology. But I digress. Yeah. Anyhow, let's move forward. We were still talking about Kate and Attiah. So 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs since Trump has been in office. She's the last Black person working at the Washington Post, and all she did was quote Charlie Kirk. That is abysmal. So are you happy that there's no more Black people at the Washington Post? Like you're happy that Black mayors are getting put in their place out of your mouth because Black mayors don't know what they're doing? Right. I do believe that's what you said.
Yes, Leo. I'm so happy that they're cleaning house of the Washington Post. They expose the hypocrisy of such a liberal, progressive rag. And more Black people need to be fired. But wait a minute. They believe in DEI, don't they? So shouldn't that DEI officer help some more Black people that they're firing, those precious Black women, which are being used as tools and pawns? I don't know.
Well, DEI got destroyed, as you well know. And that is why that is a big part of how 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs. Oh, it only affects white women. It only affects this. It only affects that. 300,000 Black women have lost their job and counting every day. And the thing that kept them in their positions, that kept them safe from being attacked by this racist regime was DEI. They had to move DEI out the way to move out Black people, and they're attacking our women, whom I feel obligatory. What is the word here? I feel it is obligatory for me to protect as a father of two daughters. I feel I should be protecting Black women. So I'm fighting. That's just my opinion. You know, everybody got their own thing. What did she say?
Yeah, what did she say, Leo? You say she got fired for quoting Charlie Kirk, but that doesn't sound completely true, like the media would need us to believe.
So then why did she get fired? Because everybody's reporting the same thing.
Gosh, let me see. Let me look into this.
Because I honestly can't find it.
Exactly. The media is still trying to, with the algorithm online, not helping anything. Okay, Washington Post.
Oh, wow. Altered quote. Black Black women do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. That's not the exact quote.
Are you going to share your screen and show us the lies?
Well, he did say it. He just said it about particular Black women. I do remember.
Exactly.
I actually heard when he said this. He actually did say it. I heard it. I heard it out my own mouth, my own ears. He did say this, and he attacked. Let's quote who he. Let's talk about who he attacked. He attacked Michelle Obama. He attacked Shirley Jackson. He attacked Joy Reid and Justice Ketanji Brown. Those are the Black women, he said, I quote, do not have the brain processing power to be taken seriously. He did say that.
Okay.
So she was fired for quoting that. He did say it. I heard it with my own ears. Now, that was one of the clips I heard. It was longer than that, but he did say it in his attack on. He doesn't feel that the smartest Black women were very intelligent.
One takeaway from this situation is that a lot of people who are all amped up, hyped up with the word racism, there should be a hashtag, do your own research, or I did my own research, because they're feeling lied to by people like her in the Washington Post by constantly trying to put a spin and perpetuate a lie, labeling and demonizing a person as racist. But again,
I just told you he said the stuff.
I understand that, but do your own research because, again, you're creating a key word, which is context. What was the context that he used it in? And why does it make him a racist that needs to be destroyed and demonized and his memory tarnished? Again, people, do your own research and
I
you'll.
mean, all he did was attack all of the top Black women. He attacked the top Black women. That's what he did. And I don't mean the hip hop stars. I don't mean like you was telling me. Oh, Justice, the Supreme Court Justice, Uncle Tom. He should be protected. Everybody should look up to him. But
Clarence Thomas, of course.
That's what I said. Isn't that
People
what I said?
be up on Clarence Thomas. People be up on.
That's what I said, Uncle Tom.
So.
Oh no, you're right. He's not Uncle Tom. That's not true.
Exactly.
Uncle Tom would have been, the next door neighbor. He was the one with the big eye. Because he's that character from the Boondocks. Everybody know. Uncle Ruckus. He's Uncle Ruckus. Okay. So, listen, I didn't draw him. I just concur. So, she got fired for quoting him. And now you're saying, oh, context. She got fired for quoting someone, anybody. She got fired as a press person practicing free speech for quoting someone. But I know you're going to be good with that.
It's not
Trump derangement syndrome.
Her employer fired her.
And why was she fired?
Because of her social media, like any other employee that ruins the brand on their social media. That's an at-will worker. Maybe Washington Times should have labor laws and a union. How about that? A labor union to protect her from doing whatever she wants outside of the scope of her job. But again, Donald Trump didn't make them fire her. They fired her because they felt it was inappropriate. So go after the Washington Post, those liberal progressives.
So you don't think that Donald Trump is laying any weight behind anything to make these firings happen? You think that everybody's just so in love with Trump, even on the other side?
No. For example, he has precedent now with the lawsuits that are being settled of the cases that he took CBS to court with George Stephanopoulos as an example of someone who just blatantly lies because they're so Trump deranged about the president.
What did Mr. Stephanopoulos say that was such a lie?
He said that Donald Trump is guilty of
the R word. Is that the one you want to say?
Grape.
The
Yes,
R word?
grape. Yes, grape.
Stop
Yeah.
saying that.
I said grape.
Oh, great. Okay.
Right.
So let's examine this.
No, let's
You're
not.
right. He was not guilty of grape. You know what he did do? He sexually assaulted someone with his finger. So no, he did not use, and that was proven in court. So no, it was a civil suit, but at the end of the day, if someone won the suit, that means they found him guilty
Not
of
that.
SA. They found him guilty. So he was guilty of SA, and he was like, "Oh no, I never used my um appendage. I did it with my finger. You're lying." That's his thing. Oh, you said that I penetrated her and I only used my finger. Get out. That's your that you want to defend that? That's the hill you want to die on? So this is the type of thing where the press is being attacked. He said,
This is the type of thing as where you're a better journalist than George Stephanopoulos because he wouldn't even be big enough to admit what you just admitted and put the connect the dots too. So that's why he's making millions of dollars when you should be.
here's how I feel about it for real, for real. If you did that, then you're a rapist.
Well, then
And
as
that's how I don't care if it's Trump. I
long
don't care if it's the dude down the block. If you did that, you deserve to with the same dude, same thing he got. You're a rapist. It's not, oh, well, I only SA'd her. It wasn't that bad. Like, yo, what is wrong with you? How do you defend that? How do you like, oh, no, he didn't do that. He only did this. What, like, really?
That's why there's different degrees of murder. There's premeditated murder. Sometimes it's an accident. This is how the law works.
Well,
Like
this was premeditated. He did it on purpose.
when it comes to speech, there's certain laws in place when it comes to free speech. So that way you just don't go around lying about people because that can put people in danger or actually make them lose an election or influence an election if they're running for
You
office.
know what? I don't think people are going to look real different than somebody who did one over the other. Like, yo, you really, like, SA'd this woman. And you're like, no, but it wasn't great, though. Like, yo, you SA'd her. What's wrong with you? Like you're like, well, it wasn't great. I don't want to hear that. You attacked her
Be that as it
sexually,
may, that's not how the law works. So
but that
guilty in the court
whole
of public opinion as opposed to a court of law. Understand?
well, in the court of law, he did SA the woman. He is a sexual predator.
But he did not grape her. So George Stephanopoulos was wrong, and they owe Trump money now because he lied, and that lie could have affected the outcome of this presidential election and potentially caused him more harm, like an assist, like almost being assassinated.
It's amazing that you're that defensive of someone who only SA'd someone versus graping them
Oh
when
yeah.
it was also accused of grape multiple times by multiple people. And this is on record. So I mean, this is who he is. If you don't think he's great, people, then I don't even know what to say about that. I'm done. I'm moving on because it's just a ridiculous argument at this point. Let me
Yeah.
just check in and see what anybody else is saying. Somebody's agreeing with you. Mr. Full Stop is agreeing with you.
Yeah.
What does black matter? She didn't get fired because she was black though. That Charlie Kirk quote is out of context. Exactly.
Get him.
Manslaughter versus murder, still a killer. Thank you, Crizzy. Wow, they in a chat going at it. The federal government may not harm a citizen over a speech. A private employee may fire an employee for what they say outline. You're right, that's true. So, Karen, you're correct on that, but here's the thing, right? You ready? The president calling someone in the media and threatening them because they don't like what was said is unconstitutional. Full stop. The outcome of it, whether somebody got fired, whether they didn't get fired, none of that matters. You're talking about extra, you're talking about stuff that don't matter. The president threatened the media for saying something he didn't like. Period.
Well, how about this? What did Congress, the President Joe Biden administration, do to Mark Zuckerberg of Meta with Facebook? Remember? The same thing with Instagram. Listen, if anybody says anything different about this Dr. Fauci ouchie and this whole COVID situation, you are to immediately kick them. Hey, guess what? They actually deactivated President Trump's social media too, as a result of their power. So it happens all the time with this quote unquote free speech.
And you're right. You're right. That was just as wrong. You're right. And you know what happened? They fought it, and he's got an account again because it was wrong. And you was upset when it happened then, but now you're happy for it. That, my friend, makes you a hypocrite.
You mean to me?
Because it was okay when it happened to somebody else, just not that you don't want it to happen.
It's like Jimmy Kimmel and Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr is loving that Jimmy Kimmel got fired because Jimmy Kimmel was happy when Tucker Carlson got fired. Isn't it interesting how that works out?
I think that's all stupid. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do not. That's not an attack on you. I'm agreeing with you, actually. Like, yeah, isn't that is interesting? It's stupid. Like, they're like, y'all are fighting. Y'all should be working together, not against each other. Y'all are the media. Whether y'all should put your differences aside and work together. But instead, it's a divide and conquer. And you're letting it work. Y'all are stupid. I digress. Let's move forward. The fight to continue to use Utah as illegal maps by appealing the court decision. 2 votes done already under illegal maps. Oh, right. So Utah's already done 2 votes under maps that was already decided to be illegal. They've already said these maps are illegal. And 2 votes were already done under these maps. They're trying to push out the vote. Actually, they're trying to, I apologize, that's not true. They're trying to push out the court appearance because the court is going to make them reverse the maps in Utah. They're trying to push that vote to reverse the maps back till after the election. Not that they're trying to win it because they know it's already illegal. It's just a matter of, it coming into place. They're trying to push it back long enough to use the illegal maps again in Utah. The midterms, the midterm elections. So are you good with that kind of cheating as well?
Well, this is just strategy because I'm a strategist. So strategically, it makes sense. And if it's within the scope of the rules, fine. Doesn't seem like they're doing anything too illegal other than trying to do
literally against the law.
Run out the clock.
It's literally against the law. The maps have been against the law for 2 voting cycles. The maps are illegal. And you're like, First Amendment, league laws. This is the problem with MAGA. This is a problem. I don't even know what else to say about that. Like, I don't have nothing against conservatives. I don't have nothing against Republicans, but I have a problem with MAGA right now. Because the things that are happening right now are breaking this democracy. Because this democracy is based on the laws that keep it. I was never even a big democracy person, but this country has come a long way in 400 years, especially in the way they used to treat minorities, and all of it is getting rolled back right now in real time, right in front of our faces.
Right in front of our faces, fascism, Nazi, Hitler, but it's not working, Leo. Nobody cares as much as you guys need them to.
They're caring. Because as much as you say they don't care, when they looking around in their apartment hunting and looking at the price of their rent because of this, they care. When they go to the grocery store and they're like, "Dag, I need to buy, but maybe I'll just go with, maybe I could just get away with this chicken this week because, going for that beef is kind of high right now." They care. When they want to take their kids to go somewhere and they're like, maybe next week, because our pockets is a little tight, because prices is a little high. They care. When they wanna plan a family trip for the year and they're looking and they're like, maybe we gotta push it back a year because prices are so high. They care. They care because the things I'm talking about is affecting their bottom line. It's affecting their pockets. And I know that the defense for the conservative MAGA movement is, I don't understand economics. That's the defense. Like, I've spoken to you about this a few times. What do you say? I tell you, every time Trump's in office, the economy hits the toilet. First, you want to blame Fauci. Now you want to blame Jerome Powell. It's always somebody else's fault. But whenever Trump's in office,
The economy takes a dip. People's pockets hurt when Trump is in office. They care. And continue to blame everybody else if you want to, but the people are seeing it. It's not Dr. Fauci's fault and Jerome. It's always somebody else. It's Trump in office. When Trump got in office and started putting things in place, anybody with any kind of thought process looked and said, these are going to be the results. Prices are going to go up. Things are going to be unaffordable, because that's what happens when you do these things like tariffs. When you do this one big ugly bill and you take away benefits from everybody and you give money to the rich. It didn't work when Reagan tried it with Reaganomics. They called it trickle-down economics. You're going to do the same thing, trump it up. Trumped up trickle-down economics is not going to work. It didn't work in the 80s. It put this country in a very bad position. You're doing the same thing that you're practicing bad. And so now you've got that big bad bill, which is trumped up trickle-down economics. You've got an economic system that didn't work and tariffs. You have a perfect storm of a financial disaster, and people are seeing the effects when they want to move. When they're looking at the price of their houses go up, they're happy about that, but they can't sell because they can't afford to move. It's called a housing crisis. People, they care. And what is being done about it? People trying to fight against it and trying to do something about the fact that prices is going up or being quieted down, shut down. They care. They have to care because they're getting hurt. They're getting hurt. American people are hurting because of Trump, so they care. And then y'all are talking about Trump derangement syndrome. It's deranged not to look and see that he's hurting people. That's what a derangement is. So I happen to agree, Trump derangement syndrome absolutely exists. And people do care. Anyway, now that they're trying to change the maps, and MAGA's good with it, what happens from there? That's the question. My opinion is people are going to care because they want to get somebody in there that's going to try and do something about the fact that things are going up in price. And now the MAGA movement is cheating, and the people that are doing it are mostly poor. They can't even afford to live for themselves. And yet they're pushing a movement that's hurting them worse. That's deranged. That's Trump derangement syndrome. And regular people, even a lot of people that were Trump are now looking at, they're showing up at town halls like, yo, who's paying for the tariffs? The MAGA conservatives can't even go to their own town halls. People are caring. People can't even, the red people, the conservatives are caring. People are caring. People don't want to walk down the street and go through checkpoints. You got a few pundits on the news talking about, oh, everybody's happy. In real life, in real time, people is like, yo, this is not improving anything. You can't make things better by putting cops on every corner. That's not good. All you're doing is creating a police state. That's not stopping crime. Crime is going to move someplace else in the city where the cops are not. They're going to have lookouts, and when the cops come in, they're going to break out. You're not attacking the underlying problems that's causing the crime. You want to attack any place where there's poverty, there's crime. You go to a country and it's an impoverished country, the crime rate is high. If there's poverty, there's crime. You want to attack crime, attack the poverty. Put programs in place that deal with the underlying problem. Programs in place that deal with the fact that people are hungry. Put food on their table. That brings the crime rate down. The crime rate goes up if I got to feed my kid and I ain't got no money, because now I got to do whatever I got to do to feed my kid. Cops on the corner is not going to stop me from from doing what I got to do to feed my kid. Giving me ability to be able to put food on the table is going to stop me from doing what I got to do to feed my kids. Now I could go and do something that doesn't get me locked up and take me away from them for 20 years. Cops on every corner is a terrible answer, and law enforcement would be 10 times better than putting troops on the corner who are not trained. I was military. Let me tell you how the military is trained to deal with crime. They're not. They're not.
And just because just like Representative Jasmine Crockett said, just because you committed a crime doesn't make you a criminal, right, Leo?
Well, the Jasmine Crockett thing, let's touch that since you brought it up. I wasn't going to bring it up today, was I? Wasn't she Jasmine Crockett? No, I wasn't going to. No, listen, and she's wrong about that. If you committed a crime, you're a criminal. That's BS.
You can't say that, Leo. That's a
Why
black
not?
woman. She might get fired from her job when she's redrawn in the rejected gang.
Yes, that's true. But being that she's one of the most intelligent black women I've ever heard speak, I'm sure she'll find a home someplace else to still represent for black people strong. I'm looking forward to see her do that.
Please no.
I know you'd rather see Uncle Trump.
Yes.
Matter of fact, did your Uncle Trump target any city with a white mayor? I believe I asked you this before. Any
I
city?
don't, I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. Whatchamacallit? I think it was Denver, Colorado. Ah, look at that, Leo.
He sent troops to Denver, Colorado? No. So what are you
Oh,
talking about?
what was the
Did he
question?
send troops to Denver, Colorado?
I don't know. Let's check.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't. No, I don't even know why you're wasting your energy. He did not.
Yeah, here it is. Denver pushes back on possible National Guard deployment.
Did he send troops to Denver, Colorado?
No.
All right. So has he sent troops to any place that has anything but a black mayor?
So far, no. DC and Memphis, I think.
Well, that's not true. He did. Well, he did in California, right?
Gavin Newsom's the governor. He's white.
Who's the mayor of LA?
That's Karen Bass, a black woman, needs to be fired.
Oh,
But the voters have to do that.
yes, I know how you love black people. And I can only say that because every time you hear somebody black, you have something negative to say.
Clarence Lawrence? No, I didn't say anything negative about that guy at all.
No, so the only one you love is Uncle Ruckus. That's
You guys call him name. I call him by his real name, which is Supreme Justice Clarence Jones.
well, you got Uncle Trump, I got Uncle Ruckus.
Oh God.
So I know Memphis was pushing back against Elon Musk because he was trying to put data centers that would actually harm the community. And then Memphis got targeted by Donald Trump. So does that mean that Trump and Elon are friends again?
Who knows, my friend? Who knows what the media needs you to believe today?
Okay. So you up on the Midway Blitz?
The what?
The Midway Blitz. The Midway Blitz is the operation to attack Chicago, where he did the whole, I don't know, he did the whole thing on social media. Okay, you don't remember it. That's fine. Let's share it. So, right here, Trump unleashes ice on Chicago with Operation Midway Blitz. This is
Yes,
Trump
yes, okay.
wearing his
That's
what kind of
Trump being
outfit?
Trump, trolling. That's the what, Confederacy?
Yes, he's just trolling. That's why he has wanted to bring back Confederate general names to army bases. That's why he wants to hang Confederate flags. That's why he wants Confederacy in the White House. The man's a Confederate white supremacist narcissist. He's also, I got other words. Wow, let me see. How many can I come up with in a sentence? I want to say Hitler. I want to. I could keep going, but I don't think it's necessary. You get the point. The man is a dictator, totalitarian, authoritarian. You know all them big words you don't like. That means people are going to be hungry because the things that these people do. When Hitler took over, what happened? Right? People. There was a story about what happened. This was actually him coming into power. It was called deflation. And so inflation is bad, is when prices go up on everything. Deflation is far worse. Deflation is when it's just not enough goods to go around. You got so much money in the system that it becomes worthless. So one story out of Germany, I believe it was somebody showed up with a wheelbarrow filled with money to buy a loaf of bread. They went inside to buy the loaf of bread and came back, and somebody had dumped all the money out and stole a wheelbarrow.
If kids
Because
only
the
learned
money,
that in high school, social studies.
I'm sorry?
If only these kids would learn about that in social studies or high school government class or history class.
Well, that's why we're here. I was a teacher and I can still educate. That's why we're here, so that they can learn. Well, Governor Newsom's fighting back. I don't know much about this man's policies, but I'm becoming more and more of a fan. Did you hear what Governor Newsom did today?
No, thank God.
That man put it into law that ICE agents can no longer run around with masks on and no badge. You got to identify yourself now. You can't jump out like you can't
So
jump
a
out like
state official can tell that to a federal agency.
yes. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Trump's going to challenge it in court, but here's the thing: if there's a law on the books for the feds, the state cannot challenge it. The feds are higher than the state. But if there's no law on the book for the feds, and there's no law saying that ICE can run around with masks on, no ID, and jump out like they bank robbers and throw people in a trunk, gun to their face, beat up civilians and be trying to record them. There's no law saying that. So since there's no law saying that, a state could put a law in place saying the opposite. Now, in order for Trump to be able to say, well, ICE agents can run around with masks on, he has to make it a law. Governor Newsom was very brilliant with that. I'm not going to say he can't do it, but Governor Newsom's forcing his hand. Brilliant. Because police should not be running around with masks on like bank robbers, jumping out of cars, guns drawn, smashing people's windows or dragging them. Like, yo, the stuff going, yo, they broke into this one place in Chicago. They like this, and there's many, many stories. This when they broke in, they was yoking out immigrants. The guy who owned the business came out. This 80-year-old man, he broke his elbow, busted up his ribs. This other lady, she was video recording them taking immigrants. The people that they were taking were legal. They're taking immigrants, and she was like, they're legal. They punched her in the face. This woman was an old woman. Like, yo, the stuff they doing is crazy. And they feel empowered because they don't got to identify themselves. If they got to do this with their mask off, they ain't going to act like that. But you're okay with them acting like that, right? MAGA's good with that?
I didn't say that, so.
I'm happy to hear that. So how does MAGA feel about their actions?
Well, we feel as though the American voter last year gave the president a mandate on the issue that he ran on, which is fixing the border, which he closed, by the way, and making sure there's mass deportation. So far they're happy. They'd not be able to stomach it, but so far they're happy. When it comes to immigration.
What about the fact that they're attacking citizens? Not Hispanic citizens, not, oh, well, you know, because they're attacking people because they look Spanish. They're just racially profiling now. And it's legal. The Supreme Court made it legal.
Run up on them and bother them and impede. Yes, they're going to do their job. So
that is not doing their job. Attacking citizens is not their job. That's illegal. You're wilding.
The citizens that attack them, yes.
No, these are not people that attack them. Pulling out your camera is not attacking someone.
Get that camera out of my face.
So if somebody pulls out a camera now, the police can attack them. You're good with that?
Well,
that's what you're saying.
This is the National Guard. This is ICE. This is federal agents.
You're saying that if someone pulls out a camera, that the law enforcement should be able to attack them. You're saying MAGA is happy with that.
Some MAGA is, some MAGA isn't. I'm one of MAGA that's not. They're happy with that. But if you impede justice, then maybe.
Well, these people are not impeding justice.
We're not there. It's their word against the feds.
It's on camera. It's literally on camera. They're recording it. So they're not. So no, they're not. They're getting beat up for recording things. So do you think it's okay for this country, for Trump to say, like this is China, we want 10% of your business? Like they did to Intel? Do you think that's cool?
That may be overreach. But then again, that's what taxes are for.
No, on top of taxes.
On top of taxes, sheesh. No.
Oh, Okay, so we agreed that Trump is doing something illegal for once. Wow.
Read.
Alex Alex Acosta was the attorney that was pressing charges on Jeffrey Epstein during the first time he was charged in 2004 and gave him the sweetheart deal. When he was being questioned by Congress, they was like, yo, why did you give this man a year or 364 days or whatever it was, and not even and he gets 12-hour work release every day? Like he's only going basically to jail and sleeping, coming right back out. Why did you give him this deal? And Acosta's like, according to what I saw, that's what he deserved. And then so they said, wait. So let me ask you a question. Did you even read what the witnesses, they're not witnesses, the survivors said? Did you read what they said? And he tries to avoid the question and they keep going. And then he admits that he gave Jeffrey Epstein that sweetheart deal and never even read the case. This is what he testified. Do you think that he's covering?
Covering something up? Is that what your question means?
Definitely covering something up, probably for Trump, right?
He's probably covering his own tracks. There are many things that can happen in these dicey cases, especially with Jeffrey Epstein and what's going on. So it is possible. Again, Epstein, like Israel and like a lot of other situations, is an area that's dicey for me, in which, there's a lot of questions more than answers. And the public is not, especially the MAGA side of the family, is not getting the answers they want. So
Notice that. Good for that. Keep fighting, MAGA. I'm with you behind that one. See that? I could support MAGA too.
okay, well, I'm glad we can agree on that.
So the UFC fight that Trump is planning on the White House lawn while people are starving. How do you feel about that?
Great entertainment. This man comes from the entertainment realm. It's great. And he just had the McMahon family at the White House too, by the way.
So while we can't, the average person, I can't say we, while the average person can't afford to keep the roof over their head and people are losing their homes and the homeless population is growing and people can't put food on the table, he's building a ballroom with the money, with that money, and hosting a UFC fight with the money instead of trying to help people. And you're happy, and MAGA is happy with that, even though I see a lot of MAGAs not now. I'm really starting to see MAGA understand what's happening, but still I see a portion of MAGA that doesn't get it.
Looks that way, but remember, California is still number one in poverty, and it's a liberal controlled state. So how's it Donald Trump's fault? If anything, you should worry about your own state. The president's doing his best by cleaning up DC.
I'm not from California. I'm worried about the country, and I'm looking at what's happening in the country. And so you pointing out one state rather than answering the question, that was almost kind of like, you're in front of Congress. So Erica McIntyre, do you remember her?
Yeah.
Erica McIntyre was the name of a statistician that was in charge at
fired. It'll come to me now. She's fired because she did a horrible job and she did it politically motivated. Yes, good. Was she black?
Well, you can't prove that's politically motivated. You know what you can prove is politically motivated?
What?
That Donald Trump has ordered the labor statistics to no longer report inflation until further notice. So now they're not able to talk about the real job numbers and they can't report inflation. They've literally been ordered to suspend the report on inflation till further notice. Is this somebody, why do you think he did that?
Because the current people there can't be trusted to do their job. So why not just put a pause on this until we get the right competent people to do it and provide accurate reporting? Makes sense to me.
He already put people in place. The reports came, he got the reports, and then he said they're not going to give them.
Okay, well, let's just pump the brakes on this because so far Jerome Powell and the Fed aren't doing the job they should be doing.
Oh, wow. So Chrissy said that she likes coffee and it's more expensive now. She cares. Yes, coffee is going up like 30%. So I see why she cares. I learned about the wheelbarrow thing in high school. I know they taught that in high school.
In our day.
In Germany. Well, we don't know how old Crizzy is, so we can't say that. Something habeas corpus is required in quite a few places. Oh yeah, right. Constitution and laws and all of that. One party consent states the law exists. The arresters need to follow the law too. Amen. Can't police just breaking the law is insane. Labor cessation inflation report suspended indefinitely. We did Eric McIntyre. We explained.
We did everything.
We're almost done. Trump yelling at Pam Bondi on social media to prosecute Letitia James. You know about that?
Where is that? That's not on the
Okay, then if that, I thought I sent you the new one. That's not on there? Is Venezuela on there?
No.
How about global recognition of Palestine?
No.
All right, so I must have put this on the wrong list. So I won't get into these things tonight. I'll leave it at Mr. McIntyre. We'll finish off with Ms. McIntyre. So you don't think that Trump is covering up how horrendous his economy is?
Well, there are other issues here, so potentially. But again, the thing that he believes is obstructing his economy from being successful is the Fed and Jerome Powell. No relation.
So now that Jerome Powell's lowering the interest rate, and I'm sure that you're a MAGA Republican, so you're not going to understand how that affects the economy, because MAGA is never going to understand the economy.
You got to insult us, don't you? You can't just.
No, it's not an insult on you. It's the MAGA response in defense. All MAGA people either say a bunch of baloney that doesn't make sense or claim they don't know. That's what's been going on that I've seen. And you have to do one or the other, because the only alternative is giving the truth, which is, oh my God, these policies are so terrible. Those are the only three options. You either say a bunch of nonsense that don't make sense, rhetoric, you don't know,
Yikes.
or you face the facts. Because the facts are tariffs are a tax on the people. The facts are businesses are going to close because of tariffs are closing. The facts are that means that people are going to lose their jobs. So when all of this stuff is happening now, the only thing you can do is either lie, claim ignorance, or face the truth. Now, in your particular case, I honestly believe you really don't get it. Economics isn't your strong suit, and you're not going to listen to me explain it because you don't really want to know, because that will cause something called cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
And it's uncomfortable to understand how bad things have really gotten and how bad, because you're a conservative. Here's the way I see it. Here's the God's honest truth. You're a conservative and you're very deep in. Your party has been swooned by MAGA. For you to face the truth, for you to really look and be like, oh, snap, this is probably not good, would mean you would have to turn your entire life around. And I don't think you can do that right now. So I think we're going to continue to be able to have these conversations, because I don't think you can face that truth. And it's not an insult. It's unfortunately what it is. Because, it can't be any more plainer than black and white what tariffs do. It can't be any plainer. It's kind of like tariffs are bad. They're bad for the country that implements them. That's why nobody wants to do it. That's why the American economy has gone in the toilet. That's why America's economy was the #1 economy in the world and is sinking. If tariffs were good, then if tariffs weren't bad, I don't even know how to say this. The #1 economy in the world, the people that ran it were against tariffs. If it was the #1 economy in the world, if it was #1, then the people running it probably had some idea of what they were talking about. Because how else would they be #1? When Mike Tyson talks about boxing, people used to make fun of him because he had a list. The man happens to be a fighting genius, something that's highly regarded and recognized now. He was the world champion. When he talks, people listen. He was the #1 in the world. Of course, people are going to listen. When the people that put together the #1 economy in the world are explaining this, experts, why would you ignore the experts? That the people that really have proven to know what they're talking about by being number one. Not number 2, not number 3, not number 10, by being number 1. They've proven it by being number 1. Why would you ignore that kind of knowledge and experience? That doesn't make sense. And by ignoring Jerome Powell, by saying Jerome Powell doesn't know what he's talking about, when everybody got hit with the pandemic, everybody was in the toilet, and he brought the economy back, and it was the number 1 economy, the wonder of the world, the number 1 economy by far. We looked at the numbers. You was like, oh, Jerome Powell was in charge when that happened. Why would you fight with this man who knows what he's talking about and say he doesn't? The man that's saying he doesn't has bankrupted mad businesses. He is not somebody who really understands money. He understands business. He knows how to get over from it, but he doesn't understand economies. He bankrupts his business. While Jerome Powell had the number 1 economy in the world. And to not look and say, well, this guy was great because he did this, and this guy was bad because he did that. He bankrupted his businesses. He had the number 1 economy in the world. There's no discussion who I'd listen to. I'm listening to the guy who was successful.
Wow, that's a lot. I don't know what to say about that, other than the president of the United States so far is getting things done. And the one person opposing him when it comes to the economy, Jerome Powell, is not working with him. So he's working more against him. That's how he feels about it.
And that is how MAGA is going to have to see it, I suppose. Facts be damned. Anyway, if you're liking the content, please like, share, subscribe. We're going to get ready to get out of here. And at least you're still getting both sides. We cannot come to an agreement because there's a big wall, and that wall is the economy. That wall is free speech. That wall is the freedom of press. That wall is the fact that rents are too damn high. And we have different outlooks on how it's going to be resolved. I think you listen to the experts that had us in a good place before. MAGA believes you listen to Trump. And we're not going to get past that. I mean, I presented my case. He's presented his. It's up to you, the viewer, to decide. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the ones that make the decision on what happens in this country. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be Dion. We're going to get the facts. We're going to be the media. Your neo-journalists are going to continue to report to you. And we're going to report from our perspectives. But neither one of us is always going to be right. We're going to be wrong. We're humans. You should not listen to us. You should take the facts, think them over, mull them over, and come up to your own decisions. Come up to your own conclusions. And just like some of the people in the chat who were debating in the chat, thank you guys for coming. We appreciate you. Karen, Chrissy, Ned, it was a pleasure having you. Please come and let's continue these conversations. Let's grow. Thank y'all for coming. Have a good night. This is Leo and Dion signing out.